Here we go with game 6 between Myzel and Aksel the Great. It is Socotra, which is the map. Very cramped map. There's lots of water around here, but if you look at the edges, you can't move past these cliffs, so the water is not able to be used here. Any laming except straggler trees is allowed in this tournament, so you could most certainly go forward and try and lame an elephant of the enemy. Not sure if that's Myzel's plan here. He's moving forward, finding enemy TC here. Myzel usually doesn't lame. I've never seen him in lame, so I don't think he's going to do that, but it is an option. For the time being, is just scouting. Aksel the Great, I haven't really seen him lame either, but it's pretty common on Socotra, and with the elephant sort of in the back here for Myzel, even with the short distance, you could still go and steal the elephant of the enemy. But so far, it looks like the two players here are playing the fair game, not going to restrict the elephant and that 400 food of the other player. 6 on food, now to wood for Aksel with the Ethiopians. With the machine gun archers, their archers fire 20% faster, and you'd still have access to thumbering and ballistics and everything. Ethiopians, obvious archers too, but in the Imperial Age, you could also get into the unique technology for the siege weapons, torsion engines that increases blast radius of siege workshop units. Fantastic for heavy scorpions or onagers for the late game. Not usually seen in 1v1 though, because it's a lot of investment to go into. Myzel brings in the elephant at the cost of not finishing the goat here, but brings in the elephant safe and nice here, as Aksel the Great is for the time being just pushing the ostrich, not stressing that elephant is in the back of his base. So even if Myzel wanted to go for the lame, it's a long run to go for in the end. Myzel, on the other hand, is with Teutons for this one. Socotra, it's not uncommon at all to go for towers, so Myzel might be thinking about going for some offensive towers. I haven't seen him tower rush ever, I think. I've mostly seen him place defensive towers. But the stones are semi up on the hills here. They are not too far off the TC, so you could try gathering some stone and try and restrict resources of the enemy. Like, if you place one tower here, you deny 1 gold, 1 stone, and another gold here. Or here, you deny berries, golds, and stone if you place it here. So many options for a towers play here from Myzel. I don't think the Ethiopians will be going for that, as it looks already like Aksel the Great is setting up for an archer style play here. I'll just be fast forwarding a little bit until we can see any sort of Feudal Age or Dark Age action here. For the time being, looks like none of the players are going for a barracks approach here. The wood situation allows it for Aksel the Great if he wants to go for sort of rush or men-at-arms into archers here. But I think they'll be trying to reach the Feudal Age first and foremost here. Both players equal population here, somewhat equal with food income as well, but Aksel the Great is going up and is going up with Loom here, going to have a head start over Myzel to his Feudal Age here. Actually by good margins here. Myzel is committing a bit more to the Dark Age. 3 on stone, so he's definitely preferring for the towers here somehow. Teutons can garrison more units inside the towers as well, so you have more both defensive capabilities and damage output from the towers as Teutons. Aksel now forward with some scouting here. I think he's been forward before. He knows at least roughly the location of Myzel's TC here. Did miss Myzel going to stone though. That could be significant information to know that the enemy has opportunities for those defensive towers. Preparing a little bit of walls on at least the right hand side at home, and now scouting for where Myzel is taking his resources. Seems a bit afraid to run into the town center here, so and goes for a big loop around where the town center is most likely here. Myzel going to reach the village as well, with actually the same population here, so Myzel must have had a little bit of idle time, struggled a bit for enough food maybe. Not enough villagers under a TC to take out the scout. I think Aksel knows this from his scouting, or just got lucky there and doesn't take any damage at all. Downhill hits on the villager, always good, some extra damage, but in the end just ends up sending a message that, hey, you know, I see you're taking a stone, I see what you're going for. Myzel with a forward tower, 2 forward towers actually, so Myzel is indeed going for the towers here, committing a whooping 8 villagers to a tower rush here. So let's see how Aksel the Great deals with this. He does not take any stones, so he can't really rely on more than 1 defensive tower, but he has already a few archers out, has an easy time passing through here, even though Myzel is dropping a defensive tower as well. These towers effectively take Aksel the Great off his berries, and a gold over here, and also to some extent the stone there, at least if Myzel gets to fletching for his towers here. Yep, archers forward just in time here to deny this defensive tower. This could be significant for all, but they're targeting the wrong units. Yeah, maybe the tower wasn't able to be denied anyway. Myzel with the archer range here is Teutons, going to go into some defensive skirms here against the feudal age forward of Aksel the Great. Archers also don't have fletching yet, so villagers could easily fight them off without too much of a risk here. Second rage for Aksel the Great here, going to go heavily into the archers here and keeping those resources low, going into horse collar already, maybe to preserve wood for more archers in the long run here. Here comes Myzel's scout. It's very weak, but we'll be gathering some more intel. Did notice that second range, so Myzel now knows that Aksel is going to invest heavily into the archers here. This looks like auto scout actually, by the movement of it. 4 villagers to this side now, and tower here would be perfect as well. A couple of towers here to deny Aksel of anything except his back gold here, but then again there are archers on the field. The stable is going up now. The blacksmith is already up for Aksel the Great, and he is with 4 military total. Again going forward with some archers here now with fletching, more damage output in other words. Interesting to see that Aksel the Great isn't really reacting here yet. There's 1 tower there, of course, but should be seeing the second one going up as well. Here come 3 archers and a scout. Myzel can always garrison inside these towers, of course, but I think with the extra damage output of fletching, Aksel is doing a decent job of, at the very least, delaying this tower. And from looks of it, keeping a healthy eco behind all this, not taking 2 huge hits here from whatever Myzel is doing. He's restricted off a lot of resources, but fortunately for Aksel the Great, he has a gold in the back here, so he has safe gold access until this 4-tile gold is depleted. This tower is delayed for the time being as well, but it is at roughly, let's see how many percent. 70%, so not too many hits away for Myzel to finish that one either. Just 1 stray weak archers from Aksel the Great making life a little bit difficult for Myzel at home here. Will delay Myzel's blacksmith, means that the upgrades for any unit that Myzel brings to the field will also be delayed. So that's a good use of one weak archer at only 5 HP here. Might even get the kill there in the end if he can keep distracting Myzel forward here. Myzel with mainly trash investments here. He'll need the skirms obviously against the Ethiopian's archers, so I like that addition. One tower going up for Aksel the Great, that should be the only one he could afford for the time being as well, but he's dropping in market now. Could use some of that gold to either buy his way to the castle age, make that transition a bit quicker or smoother, or buy more stone for more defensive towers. Let's see here. 5 villagers inside the tower. These are Teuton towers though. They can accommodate twice as many villagers, so if Myzel finishes this tower and garrisons inside, he kills this one, no problem. Myzel's economy seems decent at home as well. Let's look at his eco. 10 on food, as Aksel the Great has 7. And Aksel, of course, more streamlined towards the archers play here. Lots on wood, lots on gold. It's going to be Aksel reaching the cast age first, though, and that could be a very significant power spike, considering that Myzel is still miles away from that cast age uplick. No gold, and struggling for food, committing to the towers play here. Myzel now going for the forward stone here behind his towers to go for potentially even more towers or even a castle drop when he can eventually can reach the cast stage. But Aksel the Great is well on the way to the cast stage now, 70%. One scout over here just chilling out. Has a decent eco to back everything here as well. Armor number is rather low, but with the potential of adding a siege workshop here, you could start contesting the towers with either rams or mangonels here and take out the offenses of the opponent. And Myzel's eco, the way it looks right now, is not going to support any quick cast age no matter how he goes for it. He doesn't have a market either, but drops the market now to maybe adjust a little bit. Here comes the defensive siege workshop of Aksel the Great, and yep, first thing would be to take out the offensive towers to free up some map control here, maybe go for some villager kills along the way as well, and then we could start pushing back for real. You see the crossbow upgrade on the way in, that means that feudal age spears and skirmishers won't be an issue either. Yep. So you see, faster firing Ethiopian's crossbows, though missing Bodkin arrow. Well, I think that just kicked in actually, but they fire faster and they have, of course, higher damage output than the feudal age units. No problem cleaning up a few feudal age skirmishes here. Myzel just now going for the armor for the skirmishes as well, so that says something about Myzel's eco. Although the Teutons have cheap farms, it's still tough to get the eco to get to the next stage here. You could use the market now to buy a little bit of food and adjust and get to that next stage, but I think Myzel is just going to be patient here and wait for the food to kick in to get to cast stage here. See, Aksel the Great has used the market a little bit. The selling price for food is 55, so he must have used the market to either get to the cast stage or simply to get some more gold to invest into his archers forward here. See the difference of being able to garrison more units inside the towers here, more damage output against the mangonels. The villager here could barely keep repairs going for long enough. Could be because 2 towers are firing as well, but with more villagers inside, you deal more damage, and you'd have an easier time dealing with even a mangonel pushing at the tower. 2 mangonels out now for Aksel the Great, so once he's cleaned up the towers here, freed up some space for himself, he could go assume the hills here and start pushing Myzel's home eco. Myzel on the way to the cast stage though, so a defensive siege might be an option for Myzel moving on here. Yeah, 1 mangonel moving forward, also an Ethiopian knight. That's a bit fascinating. You don't see that a lot, but that's a good mobility addition here to have a little bit more speed and deny some defensive measures here. 1 mangonel pushing forward here now. Aksel the Great for the time being only producing villagers. I both understand and don't understand the town center addition here, because this town center could effectively be almost 2 more mangonels. That's a stone and gold investment. He must have bought the stone even to get that town center up, so I think that would have been more worthwhile spent for archers or mangonels on a map like Socotra when they were so close to the opponent. But Aksel is in the leading commanding position here. He has 6 villagers lead over Myzel now. 1 weak mangonel forward, but with 1 crossbow to protect against the spear here, trying to take out the mangonel. Nice attack round there by Aksel the Great to handle that spearman before it could poke away at his mangonel. Myzel, classic Myzel, going double monastery again. Teutons, they do get redemption as far as I know. Myzel has lots of gold in the bank. And let's see, full tech 3 for Teutons. Could even rush redemption here with the current income and start converting siege to handle the push of Aksel the Great here now. We have some crossbows on this side, faster firing Ethiopian's crossbows. Another defensive tower for Myzel. He's just been mining so much stone this game to be able to drop these towers, and it keeps the archers at bay to some extent. But now there's siege to push, and there should be more mangonels coming forward as well once the towers have been dealt with here. I'm looking at the population as well. It's 70 to 44 here, 14 to 0 military for Aksel the Great. So Myzel with his current eco, he can go into monks, obviously. He's producing a couple of monks. Meanwhile, Aksel the Great is using his eco advantage to go into ballistics and even more crossbows here. We'll have machine gun Ethiopian's archers. Means that even monks won't really do the trick for Myzel here. He needs to get close or within range of the mangonel to convert them. But with crossbows back in the map, the crossbows could easily snipe the monks, even much more easily than the light cav that need to move close in order to get hits in on the monks. 1 crossbow conversion though, you don't see that every day, 1 crossbow being converted. 2 monasteries producing, mass producing monks for Myzel here now, and the overall eco setup is heavily on wood and gold for Myzel now. Almost struggling for food. His farms have been idle quite a lot here, with now only 11 effective workers on food, but cramped up in the corner here keeps a lot of the economy safe at the same time. Uh-oh. That is a mangonel conversion. For a second there I thought Myzel was going to convert the repair villager, but goes for the mangonel and will force Aksel the Great to chase and try and micro it down. Great archers micro by Aksel the Great there to micro down that 1 mangonel and staying within the minimum range so that the converted mangonel couldn't get a good shot in there. Decent chunk of crossbows dealing damage forward here now. We have a couple of monks go down, but also a few crossbow conversions again. 3 or 4 crossbows converted so far this game, and yeah, Myzel is getting some trades here. He's keeping up with the KD, but not keeping up with the population here. He's down more than 20. 25 villagers, has fewer idols though, but also less military, and with siege and Ethiopian archers entering the field here, this is going to be very tough for Myzel. I think Aksel the Great even goes for the forward castle here now. He's been freeing up his economy to rush this stone mining and committing a lot of villagers here to drop this castle, to cramp Myzel up in this corner, and with army to back it. So even monks here won't do nearly enough. Let's see how many monks the crossbows can pick off before conversions here. That's 3 converted crossbows, 4 converted crossbows in the end from Myzel. His monk micro is certainly on point here, but the castle does go up, and probably the monks of Myzel go down as well. 71 to 62 deaths for Aksel the Great here. Myzel with 52 to 71 here. Myzel finally calls the GG. The pressure is too much with the castle in the face here on Socotra, and kudos to Aksel the Great for holding off the tower rush and getting his archers and siege out to counter Myzel's later uptime here. So, stronger eco overall, stronger pressure, largest army for Aksel the Great here, more kills as well, more buildings raised. Stronger eco, even stronger food eco than Teutons. You don't often see that from the Ethiopians. And we have the uptimes here, very significant difference. Castle Age allows for siege, something that Myzel didn't have access to until almost minute 30 here. Villager High plays a role as well. Aksel did a great job defending, even without making more than 1 defensive tower. And finally keeps that army number higher than the opponent.